The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
And good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Open, the one and only show that opens up the Bronx and the world to you. I'm your host, the Dr. Bob Lee, from 107.5 WBLS, your number one source for R&B. We got to take a quick shout out to DJ Kool Clyde, Reverend Nunn, and a lot of nice people in the house, but we'll introduce you to them in a little while because we have a great lineup. Leading off the show, we kick off with our new health series. It's going to be nice. We'll take you through a healthy eating, healthy living routine. Helping us get started, we welcome Open nutritionist expert and registered dietitian Fiorella DeCarla. Then we continue our health initiative with two men making a difference in our community. Michael Williams and Reverend Itis Nunn. He did our morning prayer for us. And we'll have more. After that, we'll head to the world of music with an industry staple. Universal Attractions senior agent Dino Pereira is going to join us. He worked at WBLS. They'll share the latest in the music industry. And finally, we hit the Music Monday stage to the thought-provoking sounds of Jamawan. So stay tuned. All this and more headed your way because we are now officially open. Everybody, welcome back. I'm your host, Dr. Bob Lee, and you're watching Open. Today is Monday, March 5th. Wow, we're moving through the year, right? Getting through the first quarter. Before we go any further, let's check in with our resident DJ, DJ Kool Clyde, on the ones and DJ Kool Clyde, how's your weekend?
Hey, my weekend was good, man. A lot of stuff is going on in the news, man. What's going on, man? I see you don't have your Steve Harvey suit on, man. What's going on,
I got a warm-up suit. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a little while. I'm in a positive frame of mind right now.
That's good. That's
always a
healthy
eating,
good
healthy
thing.
living initiative.
Well, think about it, man. A lot of stuff going on in the world. What do you think about a major disaster happening here? Are you prepared for that?
Woo. Well, I know a lot of people are not. I don't think I'm fully prepared. I'll probably be the guy that tries to run to a microphone and try to help everybody else out.
Do we have basic stuff like a go bag, like food, basic toothpaste, water, flashlights? I don't think we're prepared. Now, when we look,
prescription drugs for seniors.
I look at outside of this very building, they have, in the event of evacuation, report here to Lehman College. Now, let's just say maybe about 10,000 people report here. Do they have enough things in place for us, like bathrooms? Let's say you get 10,000 people and you got 150 bathrooms. Senior citizens have to use the bathroom a little bit more frequently. It would be chaos.
So where do you go? Do you go to the gym or you go to the field or what?
Well, this is something I talked to last week to the borough president about. And I think this is something that's very important. We don't have drills. We don't have no contingency plans or nothing set into effect when this stuff happens. Because they're already giving us signs. If you look in the bus shelters, you see, are you ready for a disaster? Are you prepared? Certain commercials or infomercials that they might throw on.
How does that make you feel when you see those signs out there?
Well, it just lets me see
Is
that
it the sign of the times?
It's definitely in Revelations. It's letting me definitely know that things are going on in the world that they're sugarcoating, they're not talking about. I mean, that's a great thing that you're trying your best to provide jobs and lift up your community by building and stuff like that. But what happens, like I said, when, not if, but when we have this major disaster, a hurricane, a tornado, tsunami, anything is liable, and we're not prepared. I think most people are just going to still continue to go on with their lives, and some people will say, if it's meant for me to go, I will go. But think about it. There's a scripture in the Bible that tells you there's going to be a time when you're going to beg for death and it just won't come. So what are you going to do in between that time that you are begging for death, or one of your family members looking for help? or need their medication, what are you going to
Wow,
do then?
I feel so down now, man.
Hey, man, this is real,
Hit
man.
me in the chin. Bam! So what do? We got a problem. Now what's the solution?
Well, I think the solution is, first of all, you must obey God. Read the scriptures and understand what he's saying. And shout out to you atheists that don't believe in God. And I'm sure that they do in their own ways. But when I'm
Atheists
basically
have billboards out there now, too. You probably saw that in the news.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on out there in the world. But I will say that basic things. You go home, you may have essential things in your house like a briefcase, canned foods, water, and so forth. And I think that's something that is key. But one thing I do want to say, my condolences go out to Terrence Jones, Little Wolf, from Wolfgang is his brother. He rest in peace, man. And Friday was his wake. So I want to say my condolences go out to his family. You know, P. Diddy, that was his bodyguard. So I want to say, you know, rest in peace to him. Little Wolf,
DJ
Terrence
Kool
Mission.
Clyde on the way in. All right, we got to take a quick break. And next up, Fiorella DeCarlo. She's going to help kickstart our healthy new lifestyle. But first, Lehman College recently held an event to help students succeed in business. Justin Rodriguez has a story.
The ALPFA is Lehman College's premier Latino organization that aids students in pursuing careers in business, financing, or accounting. The Lehman College Corporate Bootcamp gave students the chance to build skills they need to succeed in the corporate world. President of Lehman College's Alpha program, Onita Caballero, had plenty to say about the importance of building these skills.
I would like to help the students to become a success in their career. That's what I'm doing these three workshops, which is interview, resume, and networking, which is everyone is going to have the tips for important ways to build these all three workshops.
Students participate in workshops and networking. Lehman College Career Services told us what we must do to excel in our corporate careers.
If they don't participate in networking and getting to meet a number of the employer sponsors, number one, they should also participate in the workshops that they're having. This is a great opportunity to get the perspective from employers.
One corporate tool in attendance was Becker, a CPA exam review.
This is actually a great opportunity for the students for two reasons. A, it's a good networking event. They are able to meet peers as well as professionals. And B, it's helping them get ready for the career world. And Becker actually helps students prepare to pass the CPA exam.
Alpha President William Rublino discussed the key to success at the corporate bootcamp.
It's really difficult from a company perspective because there's so many schools that compete. And this is where an organization like Alpha can really help, right? So with UBS, what we do is we look for, this is a great example of Lehman bringing all the CUNY schools together. That's efficient, it's effective, it helps us because I don't have to travel to 14 different schools. They all come in one venue, and I maximize my opportunity to see quality students. So that's how we help. Alpha helps working through our corporate partners and working with our schools to be able to maximize the effect. This is a good event where instead of going to one school and you see 20 or 30 students, we go to one major event and we can see 300, 400 students. That's effective.
For another year in a row, Alpha Lehman College provided students with tools and guidance they need to succeed. For BronxNet, this is Justin Rodriguez.
Welcome back, everybody, to Dr. Bob Lee. I'm your host to this beautiful show called Open on Channel 67. And, well, like most of us out there, we're busy, right? And we have a rough time trying to find time to do things that we need to do in our lives to keep things in order, especially, working out, exercising, and focus on our health. But today, I am pleased to announce an initiative called Bob Lee's Healthy Eating, Healthy Living Series. Healthy Eating, Healthy Living Series. And here to kick off Open's registered, you want to kick it off?
Yes,
Yes.
of course.
Dear dietitian Fiorella DeCarlo is here. She's going to kick this thing up. She's a registered dietitian, and we have her on the show most of the time. and we talk about vitamins and how to keep your skin healthy and everything healthy eating, healthy living, and you show us the way on many shows.
Yes.
So how do we, for somebody, not even myself, how does somebody get started in a workout program if you haven't been working out in a long time?
Yeah, and that could be really tough, especially nowadays that we have a lot of research out there telling us that, 95% of diets don't work because they're not sustainable. You go onto a diet and you're not able to continue it because it's too strict or too restrictive, and so people come off of the diets and gain all the weight back. So my main advice is to start slow.
Start slow, and I'm trying to start very slow. I mean, is this the way to start? I, normally see me with a Steve Harvey suit on or one of my own suits.
Yes.
But I have a warm-up suit on this time, and
Yes.
although I didn't start working out, I'm warming it up with the warm-up suit.
That's right. You start warming it up one step at a time,
Yeah.
baby steps. You really have to, you can't change your diet 100% the other way. It really depends on where you are first. I would always ask my client, where are you right now? What are you eating right now? What is your diet? I would go through a thorough analysis of what they're taking in every day. And then what you would do is you would just break that down and bring it one step over to more of a healthy, balanced diet. But that takes small steps. You have to start integrating into your diet as well as exercising. Exercising is the same thing.
Do you recommend that people first go see the doctor? Go see the doctor. You got that
Yes.
song, Kukla? Oh, Clyde broke out.
Yes. Yes, I would say first and foremost, go see the doctor, because you never know whether your weight gain or your weight loss or whatever your situation is because of a medical condition. Now, that can be something completely different. You may be suffering from heart disease, you may be suffering diabetes, you may have other metabolic disorders, and you would have to go check that out. Also, you want to see through lab and blood lab work to see if you have any deficiencies.
Right.
So you want to take that into account first before you start any exercise
I
regimen.
like that. A lot of people have the vitamin D deficiency.
Yes.
Because we stay indoors a lot.
Yes, it depends.
socialize.
Vitamin D deficiency comes into effect a lot of the time in the wintertime too, when you are staying indoors, because we get the vitamin D from the sun. But the other thing is a lot of people who are on very specific diets, like vegetarian diets, who are not taking in as much milk and calcium. And now, if you don't have calcium and milk in your diet, or specifically, let's say calcium, you cannot absorb vitamin D.
Okay, so we went to the doctor, and a couple of weeks later, or a week later, however long it takes, we get our report back.
Yes.
And it shows everything that we need to do, and it shows, okay, you're kind of healthy,
Yes.
and you have to start a workout program. You have to lose a few pounds.
Okay.
What do you do?
Okay, well, where are you now? I would ask, what are you doing now? If you're basically doing nothing right now, which let's go from the base point, I would say that you would try to integrate at a minimum of 30 minutes of activity a day. Now, that doesn't seem as extreme as it sounds. It may seem extreme to some people, but not. When I say 30 minutes activity, that could be as easy as a walk in the beginning.
Yeah.
And if you can do that at least 5 days a week, that is an excellent start, especially if you're starting at a very sedentary lifestyle. You will start seeing results almost immediately.
Yeah. Well, I used to run 5 miles a day.
Wow.
I was into baseball,
Wow.
Football, boxing. But boxing, that was like my greatest challenge, because you do so much physically.
Yes.
Well, most of the sports. But I think boxing was most challenging. If I can get back to that stage in my life, wow.
Wow.
We can knock them out. So, but you can't start out. Most people, I think, they make their mistakes when they want to get back into it. Say, wow, I have an opportunity. I'm in the gym. I have everything here.
Right.
And they go at it too hard.
Right.
And then you make a mistake. You pull a
Exactly.
muscle or something
You
like
could get hurt. It doesn't have to be it may not be sustainable. Like if you go in too hard and you're not doing something that you enjoy, and it starts to begin to feel like a chore, you're not going to keep it up. You're just not going to do it. So you want to start first choose activities that you enjoy. If it's something like turning on the radio and putting on, merengue music and dancing around your house for 30 minutes, that's great. You don't have to go to a gym. You don't necessarily have to spend money. You can do, what you like so that you can keep doing it.
And that moves a lot of parts of you.
Yeah,
A lot
it
of
moves a
things
lot
in
of
your body.
parts. Yes, that's right.
Reverend
That's
said,
right.
"Hey, don't move too much. Keep it simple.
Keep it together." No, and the thing is that they have a lot of research out there of certain things that do help you stay on your plan and
Yeah.
things that actually help you. For example, eat breakfast. The recommendation is to eat breakfast every day. Eat breakfast that is high in protein. The first meal of the day, they recommend eating high protein. Studies show that if you eat a high protein diet, high protein breakfast in the beginning of the day, you're less apt to eat more the rest of the
Wow.
day. So it keeps you full longer.
So, but what if you eat late? Like, I didn't eat breakfast yet, but when we get off the show, I'm going to run, I think, Dino and Cool Clyde and maybe Rev and Mr. Williams. So we can go to a diner or something like that. Mr. Williams is treating.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So what should we, is that too late to eat? That's
Well, you
almost
know-
like lunch.
Well, this is the thing. It depends on how I personally, and I don't always recommend this to everyone, everyone has a different cycle, but I also eat later in the day. My meals are pretty much shifted. But as long as you're eating, 3 to 4 hour intervals to where, you need the food every 3 to 4 hours, it really doesn't matter where you start. Some people get up later than others,
okay.
It depends on your schedule, it depends on your lifestyle. So it's not necessarily what it entails really that you need to look at is your total caloric intake for the day rather than when you eat it. So eating at night isn't necessarily bad. It only depends on how much you've eaten during the entire day.
Oh, gosh. So wait a minute. You can eat late during the day, but don't eat late at night.
Well, you could eat late at night if you haven't eaten excessively during the day. So if, say, for example, you have a 2,000 calorie diet that you're trying to adhere to, that's just an arbitrary number that I'm picking out. If you do that but the last meal you're having is at 9 o'clock at night, but it's still 2,000 calories a day.
And you go to bed at 10?
Yeah. I mean, of course, it depends on you. Like,
Yeah.
I could personally
You can
do
do
that.
it.
I'm used to that. Others may have, can't sleep because they feel they're digesting and they can't sleep and they need to wait a few hours and so on. But that's a personal thing. And you also do get used to certain things. Now,
Yeah.
again, I don't necessarily recommend eating at night.
Or eating heavy. at
Right,
night.
right,
Probably a
but
small snack.
Exactly, something lighter, something
Yeah.
that doesn't have to. And the eating breakfast starting off the day, anytime you eat it will make you eat less throughout the rest of the day. The other thing that has been shown that at 3:15, they did this study that at 3:15, people are at their most vulnerable. That is when they do their most mindless eating and snacking. That's when the boredom sets in during the day, when you're at work and you start to nibble right before dinner, you're getting a little hungry. So be very aware of that 3:15 late afternoon snack attack because that's where you can do a lot of mindless eating. So what you can do to prep yourself for that is bring snacks that are a little healthier for you so that you can kind of, if you do need to, fruit, nuts, yogurt, things like that.
A Pro Bar or something like that?
Well, the thing with the bars, I, of course, always promote whole foods, eating whole intact foods. With bars, depending on which ones they are, some are better than others, you have to be very careful of sugar content and just extra, things in there, processed things that will convert it really to a candy bar versus a meal.
So I'm just getting started. What do I do?
Okay, so first and foremost, try to integrate
Did I
at
crack
least.
my fingers first?
Do that.
Okay.
Spiff up your suit so you look good. And then you want to start at least 30 minutes a day. If your goal is to do boxing again, that's great. If you want to still enjoy it, yes, go ahead and go do that, but start slow. By the way, jumping rope is excellent. Jumping rope
Can you do it in
takes
your seat?
Well, you want to probably stand up. Look, you got your suit on, you have to stand up.
I got my feet moving.
Jumping rope is an
That's a new
excellent
exercise.
exercise.
I just started that today.
No, it is a plyometric exercise, which involves your entire body weight. So you can do it in a small amount of time. You can jump rope for 10 minutes, and it will have an extraordinary toning capability for your body.
I'm going to try that.
It's excellent.
Can we bring in Mark Breland, too? He trains people.
Yeah.
He's going to try to take me to the gym. A big mistake a lot of people make, like I mentioned before. I went to this gym, and I got with this trainer, but he was working out for the Olympics. Or some type of bodybuilding thing that was coming up. And he tried to get me to do the same thing he was doing.
Yeah.
The next day, I couldn't straighten out my arms. I was like, oh.
Right.
Now, why should I go back?
Yeah.
I'm in serious pain. You try to... He just ripped me up right away. I couldn't... All right, 5 more.
Right, exactly.
So everything in moderation when you're starting out, right?
Of course, you have to go slowly. You want to start looking at if you need a guide and you're not sure about your portions because your portions have gone completely out of whack, The way to look at it, and I've said this before, is to look at your plate. Make half of your plate fruit and vegetables, 1/4 of your plate lean protein, and the other a starch like a whole grain or a legume. If you can see your plate visually in that way, you'll be more able to visualize your portions and your meals.
Fiorella DeCarla, registered dietitian. Thank you so much. We're on our way.
Let's do it.
Throw your hands high in the air.
Let's do it.
You go, wave them high like you just don't care, like a Ginger Rogers and a.
I was not going to do it.
All right, thank you so much, Fiorella. Thank you so much. You'll come back again and show us.
Of course,
okay.
yes.
All right, we'll continue our healthy eating, healthy living series, so stay tuned right here. And we got to take a quick break, but up next, the Health Beat continues with two gentlemen making a big difference in our community, and that's coming up right after this. We'll be right back.
That's low. Look, he's blushing.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Two outs with a runner on first base. Now the big guy comes out to bat, hitting .342 with 92 RBIs and 36 homers.
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
This is one amazing truffula tree. Can you imagine a place where these grow everywhere? Yes, it's called the Forest, a magical place to enjoy with your family. Ooh. So discover the forest and explore all the wonder that's there. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
How you doing?
Hi.
Hi. Have a nice day.
You too.
Thanks.
If only child abuse were this easy to recognize. If you even suspect abuse, call 1-800-4-A-CHILD. All calls are anonymous and confidential. Trust your instincts.
Welcome back, everybody. How are you? It's Channel 67's Open, and I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. Our next guests are here to share the latest from their ongoing initiative, focused on health and wellness. Please welcome Reverend Itis Nunn and Mr. Michael Williams. Now, we have Mr. Michael Williams on the set before. We were talking about this wonderful initiative. Reverend Nunn, you're from a church right here in the Bronx?
Yes, correct. Franklin Avenue Baptist Church.
There you go. And you did our morning prayer for us. Thank you so much. We had everybody, just freeze.
Thank you. Glad that we were able to oblige.
So how did you get involved in this wonderful initiative?
Well, besides being a pastor, I'm a program director for a senior center, Arturo Schomburg Senior Center on Franklin Avenue in the Bronx. And as a lot of people know now, the New York City Department for the Aging is stressing healthy wellness for our seniors as well as the general population. So we're concentrating now in our senior center on different meals, variety of foods, much exercise.
Yeah.
So we have a series of exercises with aerobics on 2 days out of the week, and then we have line dancing. We have Zumba dance. We have chair exercises for seniors who have arthritis. We have the aromatherapy. We also do massages for the seniors.
Yeah, I did a program this past weekend for the communication workers, Local 1180, and they introduced this woman on stage. She was in her 70s, and I looked like a young girl. I mean, a young woman. Reverend, I can't tell you the whole thing, but you kind of.
My Zumba instructor.
My
Zumba instructor is 70 years old.
Yeah, see.
And she looks like she's about 50.
Yeah. So it works. You just got to move your body.
And
your mind, body, and spirit.
To help them exercise to get the seniors motivated. Once they see me on the floor, that gives them initiative to come in.
You do your Zumba too?
I do a Zumba too.
All right, we got to come down and check you out.
Sure, we'll welcome you in.
Yeah. And Mr. Williams, I know you have this initiative that you've been talking about, this new program. Is it supplements or what? What do you call it?
Well, actually, it's not a new program. This is a 40-year project from Dr. Joe Wallach. Yeah. He happens to be the most sought after health lecturer in the world. His initiative is simply this. The fact of the matter is the body needs 90 essential nutrients for it to be at its best and to repair itself. The body was made perfect. It says it in the Bible. God give the body what it needs, and the body will do what it has to do. One thing that I hear and I go about throughout the city, being part of the health department and different initiatives dealing with health, is that exercise is good. But when you're sweating, people don't realize that they're not sweating out water. You're sweating out the actual 90 essential nutrients from your organs that they need. And if you're not putting them back into your body, guess what? Certain organs will break down.
This is why to pay Paul.
This is why we have so many youths with so many problems, such as diabetes, arthritis. Being so young, getting arthritis, hypertension, high blood pressure. Why are these youths getting this? Because they are doing a lot of things. They're not getting the nutrients that are essential. What makes them essential is because you can't produce them.
Right.
You have to consume them.
So you say they're about 95?
It's 90.
Essentials?
It's 90 identified essential nutrients. There's 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 to 3 EFAs. You have to have them in your diet. You cannot get them from the primary food groups. Dr. Joe Wallach proved that by fighting the FDA and proving that to put this right out there, information. And I've been on an initiative with our pastors, whom I'm so proud to have them with us, who understand that their job is to take the lead. If Jesus paid it all to give you the right to the tree of life, it is your obligation to your people that he's put under you to do that. And Reverend Nunn is by far one of the pastors here in the Bronx that we've come across who joined the company to do that, because he understands he deals with them in the church. He deals with them, the seniors. And for us in America to have the most expensive healthcare system, we are ranked 60th in life expectancy.
Wow.
Why is that? We are taking the wrong dog to the fight. Medication is not healing us, okay?
Yeah. And you have to do some things before you get to the part where you need medication. I mean, if we get to the root of the problem before you have to go to see the doctor, you know, I think that we'll be a lot better off.
That is something that I often discuss with my family in the Southland. Years ago.
What part of the South?
Georgia.
Oh, Georgia. All right.
Years ago, you heard nothing about anybody having high blood pressure, diabetes.
Talk about it.
None of that stuff. They ate, lived happy, died. Now, since they've been pumping up our animals with all the various chemicals.
Oh, my God.
You have the diabetes, you have this, you have that, you have the other. So it's hard. I find my seniors always say, well, it's hard because you don't know what to eat, what not to eat. At the same time, you have to give your body the proper nutrients that you need to have in order to function.
Yeah.
So that's where the healthy wellness comes in. And this plan from Dr. Wallach, we're hoping that when we institute this into the mental stability of our seniors, they can more or less grab, as not just the seniors, but the general population can grab a hold and work with it as well to make our bodies better. I'm the first candidate.
There you go. I asked you what part of the South because I have folk in South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina. And I remember when I first started going down there to visit, my grandfather, who was, I think back then he was maybe 95 years old, but I saw he was always in the back in the field picking his own butter beans and all his natural stuff. And they would eat hog and everything like that. They'll take, you know, they do it the old-fashioned, take a 22, shoot the hog in the head and carve it up, you know, and family come over and everybody
still do
but
that.
Nobody had high cholesterol or anything like that. My grandfather, he was 104 years old when he passed away.
Because they kept putting wood ashes in their soil. You know, the wood ashes from that, those are the minerals. Those are the things that we don't practice up here. Those wood ashes that you burn when you're burning wood, those ashes that you put into your garden and everything like that are the actual minerals and nutrients. You can't burn them away, and it goes
right
up
back into the earth and up into the plants.
Exactly. And that's why they had those things. There is a document that's dated, a U.S. Senate document 264, and I challenge anybody to go look at it. It says, our farmlands have been depleted of essential minerals. And the document dates back to 1936. Information is the key to everything that we need.
So are they trying to get rid of the bugs and stuff? Because the bugs, if they eat the plant, then you know it's good for you too. But if you have pesticides and stuff like that, and you eradicate the bugs, those pesticides are going
nature has its nature. Everything in nature has its purpose. What I am focusing on is simply the nutrients that Dr. Wallach have put together that are 100% organic, that come from the earth and exclusive to FDI Longevity, who are now the #1 multi-level marketing company in America.
Yeah.
You don't get that growth. You don't get that title. You don't get that if things aren't working. People are being cured of diabetes, high blood pressure, arthritis. They're being cured, okay, meaning that they won't have to take the medications again, strictly by giving themselves a 90 for life program where they are taking the nutrients and the body is actually repairing
responding to it too,
repairing itself. It is a blessing. And that's why the churches are involved, because they understand. The pastors are involved because they understand and know, and it's in line with the Bible. This is natural stuff, that a man should live to be 120.
Yeah.
We are by far not meeting that.
Yeah.
But when you educate your people and they start doing this and people start getting healed and the testimonies are coming in by the hundreds, people are gravitating to this because they're tired.
Yeah.
Medications have too many side effects. Medications are breaking us down.
Put on it. This can, they have the medication to fix a problem. Then they say, well, this can kill you this way, that way, and that way. Wait a minute.
You don't want to do it.
There's something wrong with this medication.
It's terrible. It's robbing. It's criminal.
It fixed my kidney, but
and so many things. Yeah. So many things that we find out aren't.
Rev, how's your congregation responding to it so far?
My congregation has been responding so far very well. And what we're planning to do is set up a Saturday where we're going to have an open house at our church versus the senior center to have the people come in and see the products on display and encourage them to participate in the program.
Yeah, I mean, we can eat pork and stuff, and every now and then. Look at Cool Clyde. Yeah. Cool Clyde jumps in there. We can't eat pork at all. But everything in moderation. Nothing should just.
Well, Dr. Wallach says it's not what you eat that kills you; it's what you don't eat. And what he's talking about is the nutrients and stuff that you need for your body. We have to have those things. It is also lucrative for anyone who wants to be a representative within this, because it is changing the course of people's lives. We understand the economy, we understand jobs and all of these different things, but we need to know that FDI Longevity is actually paying people to share this information with other people, and it is changing the course of their financial life, their healthy life, their spiritual life, and so on.
And
so
where
forth.
can people get more information? They're giving me a hard rap over here.
You can get that information from Reverend Nunn at his church, Franklin Avenue Baptist Church. He can give you that information.
Okay.
Franklin Avenue Baptist Church, and we're located at 1281 Franklin Avenue in the Bronx. Zip code is 10456. And the telephone number you can reach someone would be my number, 646-256-6500.
Senior Pastor Reverend Idis Nunn and Michael Williams, Executive Marketing Director, Urban Health Businesses, and I'm sure this is a big business for a lot of people
FDI
too.
Longevity,
FDI Longevity.
Longevity.
Cool Clyde just dropped in the music here. He's a closet pork chop eater, but he ain't telling nobody on the set. All right, we got to take a quick break right here, but next up, Universal Attractions Senior Agent Dino Pereira. He's going to share his experience from a lifetime in the music industry. So stay tuned. You don't want to go. Stay right here on Channel 67's Open. We'll be right back.
My song, thinking about my baby, trying to get home.
How you doing? I just want regular, no sugar today.
You got it.
Thanks. Hello. Hi. Did you eat that whole thing today?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, how are you doing?
She's getting big, huh?
Big. Yeah, she is big. Great haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks cute. Come on, let's go. Nice to see you. Thanks a lot.
If only child abuse were this easy to recognize. If you even suspect abuse, call 1-800-4-A-CHILD. All calls are anonymous and confidential. Trust your instincts.
Megan, you're a tramp. Ryan Fitch told me you guys made out. Everybody knows. He says you're the most desperate girl he knows, besides your mom. How many boyfriends does she have anyway? Lots? That zit is huge. Zit face. Ugly.
You know, when I was younger, man, my brother was the one who really took care of me, man.
Is that right?
Hey, he'd wake me up in the morning, get me ready for school, take a shower, make me some breakfast.
Where your brother at now?
Oh, he know. Iraq. I get lonely, nobody to talk to. I felt like quitting school. He looked at me dead in my eye. He told me, if not for me, do it for him.
Give Josh and our class of 08 the boost they need to graduate. Join us at boostup.org.
My name's Brandon. I'm 9 years old, being alcoholic.
Hi, Brandon.
I'll start drinking with the older kids. And whatever they do, I'll do.
Kids who drink before age 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol problems when they're adults. So start talking before they start drinking.
I know it'll start with alcohol. I'm just not sure how it's gonna end.
Yeah, welcome back to Open, everybody. I'm your host, Dr. Bob Lee, from DJing in his room to career with Atlantic Records, RCA Records, and now Universal Attractions. Dino Pereira has a lifetime of experience in the industry. I was here to share more. Thanks so much. Nice to see you again, my brother.
What's up, Bob?
Yeah.
How are you?
Now, you didn't tell anybody you were also one of the producers for The Quiet Storm with Vaughn Harper.
Yeah, that's my
WBLS.
My second father.
Yeah. So are you still working with him?
Of course.
So tell us about this Universal Attractions.
Universal Attractions is a talent
booking and management company that was discovered about 60 years ago by a guy named Ben Bart. He basically created the company as a management company when he discovered James Brown. And as time went on and, you know, the company grew, it turned into a booking agency as well as a management company.
All right, so let's rewind. You know, bring back that record. Let me see how you do. You started DJing in your room. Who were some of the people that you looked up to, and then tell us how that progression took place?
It was it was numerous people. I mean, everybody wanted to be on WBLS at that time because BLS was it in New York. I mean, you know, with Frankie Crocker creating what urban radio is right now. You know, he basically put mix shows on the air, you know, with Marley and Mr. Magic. They were the first radio station to ever have a hip-hop radio.
A rap show.
Rap show on radio. And then, you know, it just spread like wildfire around the country. So, you know, listening to those guys and then, you know, listening to Merlin and Timmy and then Tony Humphreys and the other guys down at KISS FM. You know, it was just something I kind of started playing around with.
See?
And, you know, it was a ton of different guys out there that were doing their thing. You know, Louis Vega. It was a ton of guys out there doing their thing. But, you know, the guys on the radio were kind of like the stars because they had that radio outlet, and everybody used to listen to them. Everybody would listen to the radio before they went out to the clubs.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was just a freak meeting with Merlin, and then him bringing me over to BLS and meeting Timmy, and then meeting Vaughn, and then with Frankie, and, you know. It just became a domino effect, and I've been doing it ever since, working at radio and in record companies.
Yeah, and doing Vaughn Harper. But how did you get involved with the Universal Studios?
That was, you know, after leaving the record company side, you know, I was kind of just chilling out, you know, trying to give it a break because, you know, the music business had become a little bit jaded to me because of all of the politics and everything that was going on. So, you know, I had
not only music business, but radio too.
Radio too. I mean, everything is changing. You know, radio is not what it was. The record business is not what it was. You know, I have this conversation with artists and, you know, people in the business alike. You know, you got a lot of great executives that don't have work because of the consolidation of record companies. You have a lot of radio jocks that don't have jobs because instead of having a local radio show, they'd rather have a syndication. So like that syndication has
knocks out a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
When you tell a college student that's looking to get out and get involved in radio,
it's hard.
And they look up and they see this one person has maybe 50 shows throughout the country.
Or like Tom Joyner, who has 100.
I just threw 50 because I didn't want to pinpoint any one person.
Well, I mean, you know, you have to be honest with people. I mean, you know, those syndicated shows do put a lot of people out of work. When you talk about a guy that's on 100 stations, when you talk about a morning show, most morning shows.
That's 100 people across the country that can have a
show. No, it could be about 500 people because, you know, some stations have a morning show producer, they'll have a board op, and then they'll have 3 or 4 personalities.
Yeah.
So you're talking about 5 people. So it could be anywhere between 500-600 people that'll be out of work.
Yeah.
You know, so then also what you're looking at is that a lot of these stations are being bought up by one company, and one company would rather have one person on 20 different stations as opposed to having 20 people on in 20 different markets.
So those are the syndication companies that are just
buying up. Broadcast companies as well.
Yeah. But what happened to regulation? Where does the FCC come in? They opened it up where people can own more stations
once they did that situation where broadcast companies could own more than one station in a market, that really kind of was the beginning of the end. You know, like you look in New York, you have MS Communications, which owns KISS FM. They used to own CD 101.9 and Hot 97, and then you look at somebody like a Clear Channel Communications that owns 5 stations.
Yeah, 105, Light FM,
Z100, Q104, and KTU. Yeah. So, you know, for a sales standpoint, it's hard for a salesperson coming from a BLS where they only own 2 stations to go to a company and be like, well, you know, we can give you a deal where you can advertise on both stations, where somebody from Clear Channel can come in and be like,
we'll spread you across the board.
Yeah,
we got 5 stations.
We got 5 stations, including.
We'll put you on our internet.
And of course, you know, Light FM is considered the #1 station in the country because they were always #1 here.
Yeah.
So
I'm beating them though overnight on my show.
That's good. You know, so it's hard.
So how do you get back on point, though? I mean, if the target has shifted How do you get back in point to not only in radio but in the music industry?
I don't know. I
to
think,
be in line with whatever's happening.
I don't know. I think the music business is in a state of flux right now because, you know, for all of the good things that Apple as a computer company does, I think that one of the things that it did to hurt the music business is create iTunes. iTunes is great if you want to go out there and find music, but it's also bad. When, you know, working at radio station, our job was to break records.
Yeah.
We play, somebody gives us a single, a new artist gives us a single, we play that single and people hear it on the station.
Back up for the people that don't know how that works. You get the record and you bring it to the
they bring it to the station and, you know, they play it for us, and, you know, sometimes it would be a group meeting, or they play it for the music director or the program director, and they would put it in the system. It wouldn't be added, but we would play it a couple of times to see what kind of reaction we got, and as the record started to build, you know, as we started to get more and more calls for the record and the record started to move up the charts, then the record would be added to our playlist and be played on a regular basis. So then when that situation happens, that's how radio listeners used to sit there and become aware of a new record. And then it used to be, well, yo, I like this record. Now I'm going down to my area record store and I'm going to buy the single. They don't have to do that anymore.
Record sales.
Yeah, they created a stir for it. They don't have to do that anymore. Now, if an artist puts out a CD, they can go on iTunes and listen to the whole CD and be like, I only like 3 songs. I'm only going to download those 3 songs.
So instead of buying the whole CD or the whole album,
they just buy a single.
3 songs or the one that they,
you know,
they
nobody's going to be able to live off of, you know, off of royalties from sales of 3 songs. You can't. It just doesn't happen. So that's now why, you know, you used to go to 125th Street and go to Rainbows or Shanghai Kulus, or, you know, you go to, you know, Beach Street down in Brooklyn. None of those stores exist anymore. Because now there's, you know, people, why am I going to do that?
Or people Tower Records, some of the big ones.
They're all gone.
Colony.
All gone.
Yeah.
They're all gone. I mean, that's just the way I think, like I said, Apple did a great thing. I like their computers. I like the iPad. You know, people love their iPhones and all of that. But iTunes has really kind of destroyed the music business. Because people don't have to go and buy a CD anymore.
So is there a good side to this?
I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I think that there's going to have to be some kind of regulation where they sit there and say if you buy more than 1 single or 2 or 3 singles from somebody's album on iTunes, they should get credit for a CD sale. But I don't know if that'll ever happen.
All right, well, let's talk about all these things that you've been involved in, and your knowledge, your great knowledge of this music business. How has it helped you in your career?
I think, I mean, I've been very lucky and I've been gifted to work with some of the people that I've worked with. You know, in radio, Frankie was the guy that gave me the shot over at BLS to become a producer and a board op. And then, you know, he was like
Frankie Hollywood Crocker. You knew it was 8 o'clock at night when you heard, there I go, there I go, there I go, there I go. I won't be able to sing this song anymore, so I will quit right here while I can.
That was it, you know.
That's not the, I changed it, that was a remix.
You know, so Frankie gave me that shot. And, you know, working with guys like you and Vaughn and, you know, Champagne, you know, people that grew up and y'all were real radio veterans. A lot of these people that are coming out of college right now, interning at radio stations, there are people that are on the air that just got thrown on the air. They weren't taught to be jocks. You know, we were taught to be jocks. You know, we had people
for lesser pay too.
Oh, of course. And we had people like Hal Jackson and Fred Buggs and Ken Webb and all of those guys to sit there and watch and listen and smack us in the head when we were doing it. No, that's not the way you do it. You know, we were taught how to be radio people, radio jocks. You know, a lot of these guys are just getting thrown on the air because they got a big name. You know, a lot of these radio stations now, you know, they wanted, you know, like Kiss FM wanted to put Isaac Hayes on in the morning because he was Isaac Hayes. You know, a lot of these stations are doing that. You know, Steve
Harvey. Isaac Hayes wasn't a jock. He was just that name.
He was a name. Wanted. You know, same thing with Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey was, you know, he was a comedian and he did a TV show. Luckily, you know, his show is working on radio, ratings-wise. It is working for him. But with all his other commitments, how long is he going to stay now?
Right.
You know, so now, but that becomes a whole nother thing, because now if he leaves with all of the stations that he's on, are they going to go back to bringing in local talent, or are they just going to find somebody to fill his syndicated shoes?
Yeah, it's deep. It's deep.
It's a lot of
there's
different
still
choices.
Hope for people looking to get into radio.
I think it's still hope, but I don't think there's a lot of room. I think there's still hope. I don't think there's a lot of room, because a lot of these companies now would rather voice track as opposed to having somebody on live.
Yeah.
You know, because it's cheaper.
And syndication too, because when you put a syndicated person on, they don't have to pay the insurance and the benefits and all this stuff. Don't have to give the guy.
And then on top of that, what happens
check.
is they may only have to give up a certain amount of, commercial inventory in order to pay for the show.
Where can we get more information on you and what you're doing?
I'm all over the place. I'm doing a number of things. I'm talking
website.
No, I don't have a website. I mean, I'm on Facebook. And,
okay, Facebook address.
Dino Pereira. That's it.
Dino Pereira, Facebook.com. Bam. Dino Pereira, thank you so much. You got to come back because we can sit back and talk about radio and the business, the record industry for a long time, but they're giving me a hard rap. The guy got his eyes wide open going like that. But Dino, thank you so much for stopping by, okay?
Thanks for having me.
All right, we got to take a quick break, but on the other side, we fire up the Music Monday stage for performance by a singer called Jamawan. So stay tuned. All this and more ahead of Jet. Wait next. Well, not too much more, but we'll shut it out with the Music Monday show. We'll be right back.
When the world won't be singing, flowers won't grow.
Low-fat cheese sandwiches on whole wheat bread. Chewy and good for you. Snacks high in calcium help build strong bones, and foods rich in fiber are good for your heart. So you have the power to dominate. Can your food do that? Run, throw, think, eat better. Find out more at smallstep.gov.
And welcome back to Open, everybody. The beat goes on and on and on because now it's time for Music Mondays. Here we go. And this week we welcome back to the Music Monday stage an award-winning singer and rapper leading the music community with pride and wit. Please welcome to the stage, Jamawan. Take it away. Here we go. Boom, bam.
Hey, remember when you was little and grown-ups used to say, stay out of trouble, go to school, get good grades. And you heard it, but you didn't really hear it. You know what I'm saying? Until one day you grew up and all of those prophecies made sense. That's kind of what this song is about. Check it out. He was my homeboy's daddy, my old crew's mentor, real mean dude with a psycho's temper. He played rough, punched us in the chest to make us tougher, rugged as a bulldog, cooler than a brother. He rapped for a hobby, he killed for a living, and died before 30, and people ain't forgetting him. He rapped for a hobby, he killed for a living. The untimely end of the villain, a brother with an attitude and an even bigger gun, running the streets on a mission, take you out for some. He wasn't one of them dum-dums, if you owed him something better, pick it for now or run, sucker, run. He wasn't one to profile, had a wife and child that he loved dearly, so tucked her in with a smile, cause any given moment just might be his last. Grab the mask, the gats, the caddy, time to blast. My homeboy's daddy, my old crew's mentor, real mean dude with a psycho's temper. He played rough, punched us in the chest to make us tougher, rugged as a bulldog, cooler than a brother. He rapped for a hobby, he killed for a living. He died before 30, and no one ain't forget him. He rapped for a hobby, he killed for a living. The untimely end, yeah. Him and his partners balling out at the club, the way the elbows rub, none knows it's a snuff. Not even the target balling out at the bar, not the least until the bullets burst through his skull. Dang. All right, well, actually, this is also what it is. We glorify the villain, right? We love the villain in movies. We love the villain on TV. We want the bank robber to get away. But sometimes they don't get away. Most of the time they don't, in reality. You know what I'm saying? Back home at the putting them on their tushes. Little did he know fools were waiting in the bushes. Words were exchanged, later came bullets. After that he lied dying as the blood gushes out of his body and onto the pavement. His wife washed in tears as the meds tried to save him. Then his homeboy swore retaliation, killed and got killed cause foes retaliated, of course. And that goes on, as the saga goes on, foes died by the swarm. glorified media and news, but the life that they live's full of conflict and blues. The villain, glorified media and news, but the life that they live's full of conflict and blues. And the reality is jail or a casket. We celebrate their life, but forgot they got blasted. The villain, the untimely end of the villain. Yeah, the untimely end of the villain. The untimely end of the villain, 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 villain. He was my homeboy's daddy, my old crew's mentor, real mean dude with the psycho's temper. He played rough, punched us in the chest to make us tougher. Rugged as a bulldog, cooler than a brother. He rapped for a hobby, he killed for a living. He died before 30 and people ain't forget him. He rapped for a hobby, he killed for a living. The untimely end of the villain.
Big round of applause in the studio, in the studio, in the studio. Give him a big round of applause. The award-winning Jamawan in the house. Award-winning?
Yeah, in Baltimore, I actually won this award a few years back under the radar. It's pretty much an award for the person who flies under the radar. They're great, but they don't get a lot of recognition.
Yeah, up-and-coming artists?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Okay.
it was a Baltimore award show called the Baltimore Crown. And
I like to say that Baltimore. Baltimore, the Mason-Dixon line over there.
Yes.
No, you wrote your own song?
Yeah, I write my own songs and make my own tracks.
There you go. Now, what was that song, the one that you just rapped about? What was it about?
It was called The Untimely End of the Villain. And, you know, pretty much people glorify the life and times of villains. Usually the media do when we do in movies, but that song is about what really happens to them. They either end up dead or in jail. Yeah. And before I came to the show, I was thinking, what's a good song to do on the show? I didn't want to do anything sexed up or, you know, or violent or anything like
You
that.
have sexed up and violent songs too?
Nothing violent. I got some sexed up songs, yeah.
And you got freestyle too?
I got freestyles for
I'm
days.
going to have you hit some freestyle on the way out. You ready?
Oh, okay.
But first I want to ask you, you know, who inspired you? What got you started in this business? Because a lot of people sit back and they watch a lot of artists, maybe on Soul Train, I don't know how far you go back, or MTV, or you know, one of the shows, one of the music shows, and you say, hey, or you see somebody in concert, you know, I think I can do that.
Yeah.
Who was that for you?
I would say Boogie Down Productions. Yep, KRS-One pretty much taught me everything I know as a MC, performer, beat maker, songwriter. I learned everything from that cat. And,
yeah. Personally, or you just
not
followed his
personally,
career?
just following. You know, when you're young, when you like 12, 13 years old, you see people, you be like, whoa. Especially when you don't have a daddy to look up to, you kind of turn towards those guys. You know what I'm saying?
Look up for a role. Look for a role model.
Yeah, you have different role models.
Yeah. That's good. So, did you learn the business through what he does also? Because a lot of people like to keep their own publishing and all that, because that's where the real money is. You know, in the case of Whitney Houston, she made a lot of money, but on tours and singing records. But a lot of people wrote those songs, and people got paid for the writing and publishing of those songs. Are you into publishing and writing your own?
Yeah, you know, I go through ASCAP and get everything copywritten and stuff like that. You know, I learned that from my older brother.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So what do you want to do? You want to take this, take it all the way out?
Man, I just want to rock. Basically, I'm not really concerned with superstardom. I'm just trying to make great music. And I'm not trying. I'm actually doing it. You know, slamming tracks, dope rhymes. I think if you an MC or a rapper, you got to have some skill. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna partake in any art, be it ice skating, skiing, the javelin throw, you got to be great at it. And you know, that's what I aim for.
Top of your game.
Absolutely.
Self-empowering rap songs.
Absolutely. Some of them self-empowering, some of them, you know, for the party time for the club. That's what I do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just, you know, keep it
gotta
banging.
mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so are you performing anywhere soon?
Pretty much Baltimore. I'm all over the place in Baltimore. I like to come up to New York every chance I get, but, you know, after I leave here, I'm going to hop back on the bus, go home, go to the basement, write some more verses, make some more tracks. And, you know.
Here's the verse right here. I'm rocking the Mason-Dixon line, y'all. Just throw your hands high in the air. See? But the Mason-Dixon line thing. All right, well, where can people find you and your music?
I'm on so many sites, man. If you just Google my name, Jamawan, JAMMAWUNT.